Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Campaigning on in full swing as fifth phase of India's parliamentary election draws near. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will file nomination papers from Varanasi constituency. India takes an important step to enhance connectivity with Central Asia and access to Afghanistan, seals 10-year pact with Iran to jointly develop and manage the Chabahar port. Star witness in Trump hush money trial, Michael Cohen testifies for the first time, says he doled out $130,000 at Trump's direction and was promised reimbursement. And fresh US aid is already on battlefield as Moscow tries to scale up its offensive against Ukraine in Kharkiv. Let's first get to the latest on the world's largest democratic elections in India. So, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be filing his nomination papers from Varanasi on Tuesday. He is seeking a third consecutive term as a member of parliament from the constituency. So, the PM is also expected to offer prayers at the Dash Ashwamedh Ghat on the banks of River Ganga in the city. He will also meet BJP workers at a convention centre. On Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a massive road show covering prominent locations of Varanasi. So, campaigning continues to gain momentum ahead of phase 5 of the Indian general elections. Leaders from various parties are scheduled to hold rallies across the country on Tuesday. 49 seats will go to polls in this phase on May 20th. Union Home Minister and BJP leader Amit Shah will address public rallies in West Bengal on Tuesday. While Defence Minister and BJP candidate Rajnath Singh will be participating in public meetings in Lucknow. He is the sitting member of parliament from the constituency. Also, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge is scheduled to hold a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav will address a joint rally in UP's Jhansi. And amid the intensified protests against the Pakistan government in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Monday reiterated India's stand on merging the illegally occupied region. The situation remains tense in POK on Monday as the total strike against high prices of wheat flour and inflated electricity bills and taxes entered its fourth day, with the Pakistan government stepping up efforts to de-escalate the situation following deadly clashes between security forces and protesters. Dr. S. Jaishankar said that one day India will end the illegal occupation of Pakistan in POK and the POK will join with India. He was speaking at a seminar in Mumbai.
For us, the initial goal was first to deal with the 370 issue. The country has already seen after 5 years how much of a difference there is today in the ground situation in Jammu and Kashmir as a result today of it being fully integrated with this country. So that part is integrated. There is the other part. So watch part 2 of the series.
And marking a historic moment in its ties with Iran, India on Monday signed a 10-year contract for operating the Shahid Beheshti port in Chabahar. It's the closest Iranian port to India. The port gives a secure access to large cargo ships. The agreement enables India to expand its footprint in the global supply chain and the maritime sector. DD India's Meghna Dev reports.
In a major move to boost regional connectivity and strengthen bilateral partnership, India and Iran signed a long-term contract for the operation of the Shahid Beheshti port in Chabahar. India will develop and operate Iran's strategic Chabahar port for 10 years. The contract has been signed between India Ports Global Limited and Ports and Maritime Organization of Iran. The signing took place in presence of Indian Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarbananda Sonowal and Minister of Roads and Urban Development of Iran Mehrdad Bazbash.
दुनिया के सबसे लोकप्रिय नेता प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के निर्देश के मुताबिक आज हम लोगों ने हमारे चबाहार पोर्ट की लॉन्ग टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में आज हम लोगों ने दस्तखत की है और ये बहुत साल से बातचीत चल रहे थे। इतना दिन तक तो ये शॉर्ट टर्म के थे, तो इसलिए इस पोर्ट के भविष्य को मजबूत बनाने के सिलसिले में और रीजनल कनेक्टिविटी को बढ़ावा देने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का जो विजन है, उस विजन को साकार करने के लिए आज ऐसे एक ऐतिहासिक कदम उठाए गए हैं।
The very clear expectation is that the Chabahar port, at least that part of the Chabahar port that we are involved in, that will definitely see more investments. It will see more connectivity linkages coming out of that port. And we believe today that connectivity is a very big issue in that part. International North-South Transport Corridor, which we are doing with Iran, Russia. Chabahar will connect us to that, also to Central Asia. We have a separate corridor, the IMEC corridor through Saudi Arabia.
IPGL will invest approximately $120 million in equipping the port. India has also offered an INR credit window equivalent to $250 million for mutually identified projects aimed at improving Chabahar-related infrastructure. India has so far supplied 6 mobile harbour cranes and other equipment worth $25 million for the development of the first phase of the Shahid Beheshti terminal in cooperation with the government of Iran. India Ports Global Limited has been operating the port since 2018 and has handled traffic of more than 90,000 TEUs of container traffic and more than 8.4 MMT of bulk and general cargo. With the operationalization of India's long-term investment in Chabahar, this port is likely to become an important hub for regional connectivity. The contract will also be able to enhance global trade by providing an alternate trade route to India for Iran, Afghanistan, Eurasia and Central Asian republics. Meghna Dev's report for DD India.
And former Bihar Deputy Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi passed away at the age of 72 on Monday. Sushil Kumar Modi had in April this year revealed that he was suffering from cancer and that he would not contest the 2024 Lok Sabha elections due to his health condition. The mortal remains of the former Rajya Sabha MP will be kept at his residence in Patna's Rajendra Nagar area on Tuesday, and last rites will be performed later in the day. Condolences poured in from across the political spectrum. In her condolence message, President Draupadi Murmu said, "The sudden demise of Sushil Modi is an irreparable loss. His gentle nature, contribution as an efficient administrator and integrity in public life were reflected in his personality and work. As Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Member of Parliament and member of both the houses of the state legislature, Sushil Kumar Modi upheld high ideals." Unquote. And mourning the demise of Sushil Kumar Modi and remembering the time spent with him, Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared an image on his social media platform X. He said, and I quote him, "I'm deeply saddened by the untimely demise of Sushil Modi ji, my valuable colleague in the party and my friends for decades. He has played an invaluable role in the rise and success of BJP in Bihar. Strongly opposing the emergency, he made a name for himself in student politics. He was known as a very hardworking and sociable MLA. He had a deep understanding of the issues related to the politics. He also did a lot of commendable work as an administrator. His active role in the passage of GST will always be remembered. My condolences are with his family and supporters in this hour of grief. Om Shanti. And in a tragic incident in Mumbai, at least 8 people died and dozens were injured after a towering hoarding advertised alongside a petrol pump collapsed amid rain and gusty winds in Ghatkopar area. Over 100 people were initially trapped with the 100-foot tall illegal billboard fell on the petrol pump, triggering a search and rescue operation. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde visited the site of the incident and reviewed the rescue operation. The Chief Minister also announced initial compensation of 5 lakh rupees for the kin of the deceased. President condoled the loss of lives in hoarding collapse incident. In a tweet, she said, the news of several casualties due to the collapse of a hoarding in Ghatkopar area of Mumbai is extremely sad. I express my deepest condolences to the bereaved families. I pray for the speedy recovery of the injured and wish for the success of the relief and rescue operations. It was in 1998, under the leadership of then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, that India conducted the Shakti series of nuclear tests at Pokhran. It was a pivotal moment for India. More in this report.
In a world driven by innovation, there comes a month to celebrate the brilliance that propels us forward. May 11th and 13th mark a pivotal moment in history. It was on these days in 1998 that India showcased its prowess in nuclear technology through the groundbreaking Pokhran tests. The day demonstrated India's ability to possess and deploy nuclear weapons, enhancing its deterrence capabilities. Pokhran 2 cemented India's status as a nuclear power. India conducted 5 nuclear tests of advanced weapon designs on 11th and 13th May 1998 at the Pokhran range in Rajasthan desert. The first 3 detonations took place simultaneously at 15:45 hours IST on 11th May. These included a 45 kiloton thermonuclear device, a 15 kiloton fission device, and a 0.2 kiloton subkiloton, that's less than 1 kiloton device. The 2 nuclear devices detonated simultaneously on 13th May were also in the subkiloton range of 0.5 and 0.3 kiloton. Recently, India celebrated National Technology Day on May 11th. Initiated by the visionary leader, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the day stands as a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. Bureau Report, India.
Now let's take a look at other stories making news. The southern part of India is witnessing continued rainfall, with 196 areas of Bengaluru dealing with inundation and 10 houses affected. A yellow alert was issued until Monday. The Indian Met Department forecast heavy to moderate rainfall through the week. The 7th India-France joint military exercise Shakti commenced on Monday. The opening ceremony was attended by the ambassador of France to India, Thierry Mathau, and other military and civilian dignitaries. The exercise will continue until May 26th at the joint training node in Umroi, Meghalaya. Observers from the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force are also part of this 14-day exercise. Sabrimala Shrine in the southern state of Kerala is reopening for Edavam that starts on May 15th for worship and pilgrimage. Alright, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Part of a collapsed bridge in Baltimore deliberately destroyed, bridge blasted in effort to clear the wreckage. 77th Cannes Film Festival to begin in France with 22 films competing for Palme d'Or. Leah Shadow, the second act, will open the festival. And Euro 2024 trophy arrives at the Munich Allianz Arena ahead of the tournament.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, returns to court on Tuesday following a day of revealing testimony on Monday. Cohen, the prosecution's crucial witness in Trump's hush money trial, is involved in the first criminal case against a U.S. president in history. Trump, who faces 34 counts of falsifying business records, has pleaded not guilty. For more on this, let's turn to DD India's Sally Patterson.
On the witness stand Monday, Michael Cohen tried to paint himself as a loyal and obedient employee who did what his then boss, Donald Trump, told him to do under his watchful eye. That includes, he says, making a payment of $130,000 to adult movie star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election to try and keep quiet about an affair she said she had with the former president more than a decade before in 2006. Now, Donald Trump has always denied that affair took place. He was married to his wife at the time. Cohen talked the jury through how that payment was made to Daniels and then how he says that money was reimbursed by Trump. He's a key witness for prosecutors in this case who are trying to prove that Trump filed that reimbursement as legal expenses to try and suppress negative stories from coming out in the lead up to the 2016 election. Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 criminal counts of falsifying business records.
And it could have been brought 6 years ago, 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. They bring it right in the middle of my presidential campaign. But we have a corrupt judge, and we have a judge who's highly conflicted, and he's keeping me from campaigning.
His team will likely try and paint Cohen as a liar and as someone who has been convicted of crimes in the past and trying to discredit his testimony. On his way out of court, Donald Trump addressed the media saying what's going on in that courtroom is a threat to democracy. He said we cannot have a country where we get to prosecute your political opponents instead of persuading voters. He continues to say that this is all a ploy to try and keep him out of the White House. In New York, I'm Sally Patterson reporting for DD India.
All right, update on Israel-Hamas conflict now. Heavy fighting underway both in South and North Gaza. Israeli forces pushed deep into Gaza's northern edge on Monday to recapture an area from Hamas fighters, while in the south tanks and troops pushed across a highway into Rafah. In northern Gaza's Jabalia, Israeli forces pushed into an area where they claim to have dismantled Hamas months ago. Israel also stepped up aerial and ground bombardments on eastern areas of Rafah. Israeli operations in Rafah, which borders Egypt, have closed a main crossing point for aid. And U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on Monday that President Joe Biden's administration does not believe what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. Sullivan, speaking to reporters at the White House, said the U.S. wants to see Hamas defeated.
We believe Israel can and must do more to ensure the protection and well-being of innocent civilians. We do not believe what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. we have been firmly on record rejecting that proposition. We have paused the shipment of 2,000-pound bombs because we do not believe they should be dropped in densely populated cities.
And condemning the deaths of civilians in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, India reiterated that international law and international humanitarian law must be respected by everyone under all circumstances.
The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has led to a large-scale loss of civilian lives, especially women and children. The resulting humanitarian crisis is simply unacceptable. We have as such strongly condemned the deaths of civilians in the conflict. International law and international humanitarian law must be respected by everyone under all circumstances.
And speaking at the 10th Emergency Special Session of the UN General Assembly on Palestine, India's envoy Ruchira Kamboj extended support to the membership of the Palestine at the UN.
In keeping with our long-standing position, we support the membership of Palestine at the United Nations, and therefore we have voted in favor of the resolution adopted last Friday. We hope that Palestine's application would be reconsidered by the Security Council in due course, and that Palestine's endeavor to become a member of the United Nations will get endorsed.
The United States has said that the military assistance from multi-billion-dollar aid bill passed by Congress last month is already on the ground in Ukraine. As part of the $95 billion aid bills, Congress authorized $60.8 billion worth of various forms of aid to Ukraine, and the White House pledged to get the weapons into Ukraine swiftly. Meanwhile, Russian troops entered Ukraine near its second-largest city of Kharkiv on Friday. And opening a new northeastern front to try to widen the front and stretch Ukrainian forces, fighting has been largely fought in the east and south. About 5,700 people had been evacuated from in and around the town of Vovchansk and urged the remaining residents to leave. The Ukrainian military said it would proceed with building up its forces in the area depending on the situation. Now, part of a collapsed bridge in Baltimore has been deliberately destroyed to allow them to remove a portion of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. Since the crash, 4 temporary channels have been opened, allowing for some shipping to resume. The Corps said it aims to restore port access to full capacity by the end of May. A ship in fact struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge on 26 March, causing it to collapse and killing 6 construction workers. The Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed after it was hit by a cargo ship, the Dali, which lost power and veered off course. The collision sent around 4,000 tons of debris into the Patapsco River. Maryland estimates it will cost $1.7 billion to $1.9 billion to rebuild the bridge and anticipates completion by fall 2028. All right, sports updates now. We'll start with football. The Euro 2024 trophy arrived at the Munich Allianz Arena on Monday ahead of the tournament, where it was welcomed by Euro ambassador Felix Brych and Euro mascot named Albert. In recent weeks, the trophy toured through all 10 host cities of the upcoming Euro 2024, which will kick off in 1 month at the Munich Stadium. On June 14, the German squad will face Scotland in the opening match. The tournament is expected to attract 2.7 million fans to stadiums and up to 12 million at public viewing events. The final game of the tournament will be played in Berlin on July 14th. And the 77th edition of the Cannes Film Festival will begin today in France, where the opening film will be The Second Act, a comedy by French director Quentin Dupieux. 22 films, including an Indian film, All We Imagine as Light by Payal Kapadia, are competing for the prestigious Palme d'Or. The 12-day-long festival concludes on 25th May. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can, in fact, for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks air on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.